Good morning, everyone. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Oh, still really painful, but definitely better than I was feeling last night after the chicken coop clean out. Brian and I managed to get the coop moved kind of in its spot this morning. I think we're gonna try and get it in place next weekend. And we've always put plastic up on the windows of the rabbit hutch, just using like boards and poly plastic. But I saw this product called Wiggle Wire that runs in a little track. So I think we might try and get some of that this year, just because it makes it an easier process year over year, putting it on and taking it on, putting it on and taking it off. Brian has actually gone to get some firewood this morning, which is kind of great. No, it's not kind of great. It is great. From a friend, but whew, that hurts. I have some other little things I have to do, like move where the chicken food is, because now they're over across the way. So I'm going to move their food in with the bunnies, and we have to kind of get that area squared away. I have to wait for Brian because there's some heavy lifting in there, and there's no way I can do it with my arm. But I am going to try to weed more of the garden and get it put away. And I'm just going to use the potato fork and kind of loosen the soil, and then use my good hand to pull the dandelions. And it's definitely not going to be primo perfection this year, but it'll be good enough. And then we'll get it really cleaned up next year. So winter is coming for sure. Another hard frost this morning, and we did get snow this week. So it was like the first day that my shoulder was hurt, and I was like, oh boy, we are not ready for this. So I was like, not yet. Anyways, let's go see what we can get done here. Oh, it's a gorgeous day though. It's beautiful. Tomorrow the gun season opens, and we are not hunting the gun season, and pretty much we're done. Typically we only harvest one deer a year here, but this year I made an exception because Andrea was hunting, so that was pretty awesome that she got a deer. And yeah, Brian may or may not, probably not, just because we're busy, and we should have enough meat. We're getting half of a pig, so we should have enough until next year. So we'll see. I have to actually rearrange the freezers because a lot of the volume in the freezer is still turkeys. I think we have three or four turkeys, and they're all 30 pounders. So they do take up a lot of freezer space, but we are definitely not going to starve. And we are really cleaning off the shelves as far as the canned goods are concerned. So the pressure's on a little bit to grow a pretty good garden next year and do a lot of preserving, which I'm super excited about. Cause honestly, in my last video, one of my last videos, the only thing I've canned this year is the venison and jalapeno or candied jalapenos, cowboy candy, because it is such a hit. So it gets gobbled up pretty quickly. But anyways, let's get going here. I'm letting the chickens, look at everybody, and the bunnies get acquainted because they are going to be roommates for the winter. But actually today, before I get into the garden, I'm actually going to harvest the rabbit poop before these guys get in here and scratch it all up. Hi, Whitey. Gonna make the chickens a dust bath. Got some sand. Mixed in with some wood ash and diatomaceous earth, and that's a good to help control the mites. This is hilarious. These guys just heard the clink of the garden gate. Look at them all running. No way, Jose. Come on out, Sal. Come on out, Toots. Out you go. Out. Nope. Okay. So we left off. I also harvested most of my beans. Oh, there's my potato. I found a potato and I forgot it in here. yeah, so I feel like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to harvest these beans. These are the kidney beans, the red kidney beans that Melissa gave me. So I'm going to harvest them and put them in the shop maybe. That seems like a pretty low-hanging fruit. So I'm going to harvest all those and then I'll put that bed to bed. Yeah. Okay. There are so many mushrooms in this bed, and I can guarantee you that next year we are going to have these kidney beans growing back because there's a lot, and I'm not going to pick them out. That's free food. If nothing else happens, I know I will have some of those beans. I'm looking right now at the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to harvest some of those tonight. I saw this really amazing looking recipe on Instagram the other day. They're called like Parmesan Brussels sprout bites. So I'm going to try and make those tonight. I'm going to make baked beans tonight from the beans that I grew last year with some jalapenos and garlic and onions and peppers that I grew. So that's exciting. Yeah, definitely in a better mood today. The old shoulder put me down yesterday, but feeling good today. Like not 100%, but way better. Let me find that potato fork that I think was the root of all of this evil. I love this so much. How neat is that? He's just hanging out there. Like, we're all kind of sharing space here. He actually could care less. He's hungry. That was fast. Next. One-handed weeding isn't too bad. Chickens really want in though. The chickens are confused because they can't find their house. You guys have to move them in their coop, but they're over here going like, what the heck is coming off here? It's kind of funny. I'm having a really hard time just walking past the dandelions and the paths, but my focus has to be getting the soil covered. So focus, Katrina. And also, I'm not sure because I can't lift this arm up to get more composted hay. I've started to call it black straw or black hay, but anyways, can't get it over the fence. So I'm gonna have to, maybe when Brian gets back, he can take the forks and just dump the whole bale in here. And I'll try and use the whole thing. This garden just has a couple of soup beans plants in it, so I'll snip those off and put them in the kidney bean pile. Doesn't matter if they get mixed together because you're gonna know what they are when you shell them. Oh gosh, that was too far to reach. I definitely learned my lesson though this year with sunflowers. As pretty as they are, I'm gonna try to reduce the amount I grow actually in the garden for a couple of reasons. The first is that they're pretty big feeders and they deplete the soil nutrients. And I prefer to keep the nutrients for actual food for humans, although I do appreciate that they feed the birds a lot, mostly blue jays though. But my little downy friend, so that was good. But yeah, I'm gonna leave most of these for the winter time, and then we'll cut them down in the spring and transform this bed into something a little more productive. One thing I do want to point out, if you are going to be using composted straw or hay, which straw is what I recommend, and you are going to leave it, because you should, especially if it's fresh, for at least 2 years, store it so that the flat side is facing up, and that way like rain can penetrate the bale. If they're on their side like you see them in the fields, they're packaged that way to be more resistant to rain. So this way water will get in them and begin the decomposition process. And let me just show you an example of what I'm talking about. So here is a bunch of mycelium, so fungal growth inside the bale, and that's what you want to see when you're putting this down. So this brown stuff is what you're after. Awesome. That means I'm inoculating the soil with all of this good, look at that, good fungus. Awesome. I have been tickled by these Brussels sprouts this year. It's so amazing. Look at how awesome. And they're a good cold weather crop. So after the snow that we've had and the frost that we've had, these babies keep on going. I know I'm supposed to trim off the leaves, but I've been leaving them on for the rabbits. It's awesome to be able to feed the rabbits some good greens at this time of year. So between that and the kale, which I harvested, I think 6 bags of kale the other day, and I still have a ton on the plants. So this is awesome. Definitely gonna grow Brussels sprouts again, 100%. These ones that are starting to, like, I don't know what you call that. Ooh, ow, I trimmed them down a little bit. And I think they also do better at this time of year because all the insects are dead, like they've been killed by the frost, and so these they don't get any feeding damage. Like, look at the size of that one. It's amazing. So exciting. So this might be the only bed that I don't fully kind of clean up for the winter, because apparently you can leave these things on the plant all the way through winter time. So we're gonna do a little experiment. I watched a video of people in Alaska with these in their garden into the winter months, like literally knocking snow off them. So I'm gonna test that theory. We've eaten more out of the garden this year into November than we ever had, and it makes me think that next year I'm actually gonna plant a fall garden, which for us it would be like mid-summer, but start planting some things like spinach and maybe some lettuce later on in the summer, or like early fall, I guess, because I've got a bunch of spinach plants that started from seed from the spinach that I grew this year, and a bunch of lettuce too, so that's hopeful. I think that's enough for tonight, but that's really exciting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a whole bunch of plants. So that's one thing. These laid down this summer because they were growing under that thing. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to try and stake them or something next year. Tell me what you do. If you grow Brussels sprouts and they grow a couple of feet high, how do you manage them if they fall over? Oh, anyway, here we go. Oh, okay. My shoulder's starting to get pretty sore, so I know I'm not going to get better if I don't take a rest. So I'm going to go inside, grab some lunch, and then maybe wait and see if Brian will get home so that he can dump that whole bale over into here, because I'm pretty sure I can almost use it. And then if I don't use it now, I'll probably use it next spring in here, or we can just dump it back out. So that's the plan. But now I have 5.5 beds done out of 15. But these are actually going a lot faster than I thought because we got some rain this week. So I'm just taking my time with the weeds, trying to let the ones in the pathways go for now. We are going to chip those in the spring anyway, so hopefully bury those dandelions. But it is just a glorious day out here, and as always, I am so grateful for the ability to be able to do this, even if I'm hurting a little bit, generally, to be able to spend time out in this beautiful place. It is a lot of work sometimes as gardeners. You know, it's we're frustrated by the amount of work, but honestly, I love every minute of it. I'm looking at my kale. I harvested a whole bunch of kale and it just looks beautiful. So I might go in and make a smoothie with some eggs. Delish. Anyways, hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.